Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Again, videos have been doing really well lately, so thank you all for engaging. Thank you all for viewing. To those who have subscribed, thank you very much. So I've been doing a series lately. So this video is about why I think Poland should develop nuclear weapons. I did a recent video on why I think South Korea should, as a counterbalance to check a rogue nuclear North Korea, and why I think Taiwan should develop nuclear weapons as a deterrent to make sure the Chinese don't invade. So this video is all about why I think Poland should develop nuclear weapons. Okay, so let's understand European geography. So we got Western Europe, UK, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, all over here. Poland over here, you got the Baltics, you got Scandinavia, you got the Balkans, and then Russia, and then Russia's puppet state here of Belarus, and then Ukraine. So the war in Ukraine is, more geared towards the south and to the east. But, most people didn't think Putin would invade Ukraine, but he did. And the Poles understand this very well because the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad is right here. The Russian puppet state of Belarus is right here. They share a border of, let's check how long the border is. 165 miles. And then the border between the Poles and the Russians here in Kaliningrad is 126 miles. So they understand the Russian threat. You know, Belarus has just recently gotten Russian nuclear bombs. I think bombs, it might have been missiles, but Russian nukes are stored here in Belarus, so there's a very serious and credible threat to the Poles, um, literally right here. And then also, not to mention the fact that the enclave of Kaliningrad is right here. So, Poland suggests hosting U.S. nuclear weapons amid growing fears of Putin's threat. This is from The Guardian. Request is widely seen as symbolic, but I think the U.S. should have some nuclear weapons in Poland, but also an independent Polish nuclear weapons arsenal is something that I think would be a good idea. There's a lot of people that would not think that's a good idea, but here's why I think it's a great idea. Why Poland should develop nuclear weapons. Do you know how many times Poland has been partitioned between outside powers? One time, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was essentially partitioned between the Austro-Hungarians, the Russians, you know, Prussians as well. Second partition was mostly the end of the Lithuanian Commonwealth as we know it. We have a third partition. I don't know when that was entirely, but let's talk about the fact that the German Reich and the Soviets basically talked nice to each other, got a non-aggression pact known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, and basically partitioned Poland. The Germans came in on the 1st of September, the Soviets came in on the 17th of September 1939, and Poland was partitioned. Poland became an independent state, again, after the Second World War, but was under Moscow's boot for that entirety between 1945 and 1991. So the Poles understand, the threat is very real. You got the Russian enclave here, you got Belarus here, you got a massive land war in Ukraine right down here. And the Poles, they do not like the Russians. They just don't, because they have some really bad history. And if I were Poland, I would not blame them for hating Russia in the slightest. They have every reason to. I think that a Polish nuclear weapons program, as crazy as it sounds, and it does sound crazy, on the surface, it does sound a little out there. But a Polish nuclear weapons program would ensure Polish territorial integrity, because they have been partitioned by the Germans, been partitioned by the Austro-Hungarians, they've been partitioned by the Russians, they've been under Soviet influence for decades. It sounds crazy until you think deeper and you realize maybe a Polish nuclear weapons program is not that bad of an idea after all. Call me crazy, whatever you want to think. I think Polish, either U.S. giving, nuclear weapons, or Polish developing their own, it's not a bad idea after all. Because if you have Germany over here, whose army is not even capable of defending their own country, and you got, much of Western Europe who is entirely military incompetent between the Germans and the French. The Brits know how to fight. The Brits know how to fight. The Poles know how to fight. The Turks know how to fight. The Finns know how to fight, but the French and the Germans do not. If you're Poland and Russia invades, do you think France and Germany are going to come to your aid? No. The German army is not capable of defending their own country. What makes you think the Germans would help the Poles against the Russians? They won't. Germans and the French are two countries that are just too bureaucratic and not, Germany's been, militarily downsizing for the past 7 decades. You think the Germans are going to come to the Polish defense? No. It took the Germans forever to even help Ukraine. What makes you think Germany and France is going to help Poland? Poland should definitely develop nuclear weapons. And that's just my opinion. And, if you disagree, that's fine. But, yeah, I think Poland should definitely consider it. I think it would be a decent idea. It sounds crazy until you think deeper and realize, it's not as crazy as it sounds. So, with that, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.